channel. I'm back to break down this 13-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Excited to get into it. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. We nailed it again last night going with Hunter Renfroe. Continue to be on a roll. If you're not subscribed to this channel, I don't know what you're doing. We've been hitting those home run calls all season long, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I do also offer premium packages. That's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups. And go ahead and check out my NFL content as well. If you're playing NFL, I've been producing some NFL content now, and I also do have an NFL DFS premium package as well that I think would be highly beneficial to you that you could profit off very quickly. And lastly, I do have memberships now on the YouTube channel. That's below right next to the subscribe button. It's something I keep forgetting to bring up. It's just a support option for you guys. If you become a member, a fan club member, you get priority in the comments. You get a badge next to your name, the KJK DFS badge, and you also get specialized emojis based upon the tier that you sign up for. So it's just a little fun way of you showing support and then getting prioritized in the comments, etc. 2 members so far. Thank you to Patrick and Gregory. Shout out to you guys. Really appreciate it. You guys signed up without me even making an announcement too much of my video, so appreciate your support. And with all that being said, let's go to start breaking down the slate today. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, and let's get into it. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Carlos Rondon, taking on the Cincinnati Reds. He comes in with a 35.1% K overall, a 15.1 swinging strike rate, good hard contact stuff. Ground ball, fly balls hasn't been the best, but he does only give up a 307 slugging to righties and a 330 slugging to lefties. He also has a 30+% K rate to both sides. Stuff has been very good as far as the Vegas totals are concerned in this game. He does come in as a 177 favorite. Expected to get the win here fairly easily for the most part when it comes to the Vegas lines. He's 10-3 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at 10-2. And he's definitely going to be a very viable option tonight. 7 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts the last 2 times out. He's been right around like 70 to 80 pitches, though, was the only problem. And one thing that I keep mentioning to people is based upon where these teams are on the standings, if they don't really have much to play for or they've already clinched, they're not going to be pushing these guys. The White Sox have already clinched. I don't think that Rodon's going to be really needing to be pushed all that heavy here in this particular matchup. So with that being said, he's not exactly going to top the top of my list. Not to contradict myself, but I do think it's very important to keep an eye on those standings. And it's something I'm going to refer to quite frequently throughout this last week because it's very valid. Second on the list is another guy that's already clinched in Max Scherzer, and he also gets a not-so-good matchup. However, guy's been matchup-proof all year long. 34.8% K overall with a 16.1 swinging strike rate. That's top on the slate. A 38% K rate to righties and a 31.7% K rate to lefties. Once again, if this was a matchup where they really needed this win as far as the Dodgers are concerned, I'd have a lot more interest. They've already clinched. The San Diego rivalry is not exactly going to have the same feel to it tonight, I would imagine. He's 11-5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's 10-4. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still viable. Max Scherzer's been great. But the Padres really don't strike out a lot. And like I said, I don't really necessarily know that they're going to feel the need to push him. I feel like they want him to continue to keep on a roll into the playoffs. So, he'll get his 80, 90 pitches. But that's about it as far as I'm concerned. I feel like a lot of these guys, I don't know, it's Max Scherzer. He doesn't like getting pulled early. I'm sure he's going to tell them, back off, let me do my thing, let me stay geared up for the postseason. I wouldn't overthink it too much. It's just when it comes down to 2 guys and you have to decide between a guy that's really battling for the postseason position and guys that aren't, I think that's very valid. And that guy is going to be Garrett Cole, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. He comes in with a 33.9% K overall, 14.7 swinging strike rate, 29.4% K rate to righties, and a 39.5% K rate to lefties. Has been very dominant against both sides, but specifically against lefties on the season. His strikeout rate has been very high. And he gets a tough matchup tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. Not exactly ideal as far as their lineup's concerned. They're absolutely stacked up and down. But as mentioned, this is the game that the Yankees are really playing for. They're in this wild card race. They're 2 games up on the Red Sox and 3 games up on this Blue Jays squad. If they lose to the Blue Jays, it's very relevant. They need to keep winning. And Garrett Cole is one of the top pitchers on the slate as far as I'm concerned for sure. So you factor all this in, definitely going to have interest in him. And the same rule is going to apply for Aaron Nola. Both these guys that expect to be pushed to their maximum capacity. Philly taking on Atlanta for a big game as far as playoff conditions are concerned. The Philadelphia Phillies now are 3.5 games behind. They really need these wins after chance to catch up to Atlanta. And of course, they get a direct competition opportunity to do so tonight, taking on the Atlanta Braves. So Aaron Nola at 9-2 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's priced at 9-5, and he's taking on an Atlanta Braves team tonight. That's really not the easiest matchup in the world, but I do think the K's will be there for him. He's been really good all season long. Even last time out against a Pittsburgh team where he got blown up for 600 runs, he still had 8 strikeouts. At times before, 9 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts, 3 earned run, 1 earned run. And I think this could be a spot where he could really go out and dominate. Needing that big win, and Aaron Nola will definitely be right along Garrett Cole for me as far as the guy with the long leash that I think could really have the top upside on the slate. So I like him for sure. Dinelson Lamet taking on the LA Dodgers does have a really good swinging strike rate. 29.4% carry to righties, 25.5% carry to lefties. Really the only question with him is going to be the pitch count. And looking at his most recent performances here, as far as what he's been able to go, it's only been right around, 20 or so pitches. So not really getting pushed to throw a lot of pitches, and he's priced all the way up to 11-4 on DraftKings. So I don't really quite understand that price tag. And then on FanDuel, he's 7-5. I don't think he's really still getting enough pitches to justify that price tag, so that's probably a no for me. Frankie Montas taking on the Seattle Mariners. He comes up with a 26.6% K overall with a 13.8 swinging strike rate, 24.1% carry to righties, and a 29.1% carry to lefties. Good ground ball, fly ball stuff across the board. He has been striking out quite a few lefties, and he's taking on a Seattle Mariners squad tonight that we're not all too scared of. They only have a 3.67 implied total. It's in Seattle. Pretty good pitching ballpark for Montas, and he comes in at 9-9 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at 9-4. And he's been solid the last 2 times out. 7 and 8 Ks, along with 0 and 1 earned run. One matchup in the Angels, who have been very K-happy, not that good. But then the next one taking on a Houston squad that's been pretty tough, and he still had a great performance. So Montas has been in great recent form. As far as these two teams are concerned and their playoff status, Oakland 7.5 behind Seattle as far as the wild card race. That would be, of course, where they need to make it happen. And when you're looking at it, it's not looking all too hot for Oakland, but I would say it could possibly happen for them. So they're still going to be battling, and it's a direct, once again, a direct impact as far as beating the Mariners and moving up the rankings here. So the Athletics and Mariners game, I guess this going deep into the game rule could apply. Same's going to apply for Jose Barrios taking on the New York Yankees. 26% K rate, 24.3% K rate to righties, and a 27.7% K rate to lefties. Has been really effective at limiting the hard contact to righties. Lefties, on the other hand, he has had these struggles. So if I'm targeting Yankees bats, I want to go to the left-handed bats. And I definitely think you could play Jose Barrios as well with this K-happy Yankees squad at times. They haven't heated up lately. It's a little bit scary to be targeted right now, but as far as the tournament aspect, you could definitely go out there and have a big game. Last time out, 10 Ks, 3 earned runs. Great performance. Maybe you keep it rolling. This one against a lineup that definitely does have their fair share of strikeouts in it. And Nathan Eovaldi taking on the Baltimore Orioles is the next guy I'm looking to. Once again, the Red Sox needing to win. They lost Game 1 against the Baltimore Orioles, so they definitely need this win. And I think Eovaldi might be one of my favorite pitchers on the slate when you factor in matchup and his stuff. He's priced at 8-8 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at 8-4. And his recent performance, last time getting blown up by the Yankees for 7 runs, the time before against Baltimore for 3 earned runs, not the worst. He had 8 strikeouts. So I think he can get back to that kind of performance in this one. And I think that with his matchup and his stuff, once again, he's going to be one of my favorite pitchers. And then you factor in the fact that he's a 245 favorite. Everything kind of lines up for Eovaldi on the slate, so I definitely like him. And that's pretty much where I'd be looking to go to. Michael Pineda taking on Detroit. I mean, Detroit's just that bad to where I think you could target Pineda. He's got a rate around a 20% K rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff, hard contact stuff really hasn't been the greatest. But when you get a matchup that's this good, he's a 180 favorite. He's 7-4 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they've got him priced at... Sorry, cannot find him. 6-1. So that's a pretty friendly price tag. Once again, his numbers aren't the greatest, but if there was ever a matchup for him to really excel, this probably would be it. And last time against Detroit, he had 6 strikeouts. So Pineda, from a salary relief aspect, is someone that I would be looking to for sure. And yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good rundown here. Max Fried taking on Philly. We mentioned that game needing some strikeouts. Some wins, etc. for playoff conditions. He definitely have a few strikeouts. Ground ball, fly ball, so that's good for him. Taking on Philly squad that's definitely been K-happy and one that I've been targeting with left-handed pitching quite a bit all season long. He's 9K on FanDuel. on DraftKings. He's 8'6". He'd be one of the last guys that I'm mentioning that you could definitely be looking to on this slate today. Has been very solid. Last time's out, 4 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, 1.300 earned runs. So Max Fried, going to be a viable play tonight. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, skill interactive ERA, worst to best, figure out the pitchers that we like to target. Sierra is a good way of determining how good they've been on the season so far and how good they're projected to be in the future. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good for Mr. Jansen Junk. K rate's only a 9.8% K rate with a 478 slugging given up to righties, a 720 slugging given up to lefties. He has been terrible through 12 innings pitched. Taking on a Texas squad tonight that unfortunately really doesn't have the best lineup, so I'm not sure how much we can really capitalize on his terrible performances. But with that being said, they do have a 4.6 implied total. They are in Texas, which is a great hitting environment. Pulling up the diagram as far as Globe Life Field. Green across the board. Love targeting the stadium for hitters. And if there was ever a time to target this Rangers offense at some low ownership, this probably would be it. Taking on Mr. Jansen Junk. He's been terrible. Willie Calhoun, Isaiah Kiner-Fafella, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe. Garcia and Nate Lowe are going to be my favorite options for sure. Nick Solak, DJ Peters have some power in the middle of the order. Yanni Hernandez, Leotis Taveras, and Jose Trevino at the bottom for some salary relief. Not the prettiest in the world, but you should definitely get them low owned. For that reason, definitely going to have interest. Danny Lich taking on the Cleveland Indians. His ground ball, fly ball stuff hasn't been good. Hard contact stuff hasn't been good, specifically against righties. He's a left-hander hurler. He's giving up a 496 slugging of those righties, 35.9% hard contact rate, a 376 WOBA, all bad numbers. Lefties, he has been very good, so it's strictly going to be the right-handed power for me when it comes to targeting the Cleveland Indians. And that would be pretty much the whole lineup. Miles Straw, Alman Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Harold Ramirez, Yu Chang, Owen Miller, Austin Hedges, Oscar Mercado, expected to be all right-handed. And definitely a team I could have interest in, especially considering the Kansas City Royals bullpen is very bad. I'll definitely have some interest in this Cleveland Indians squad for sure. Miles Mikolas taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. He's a guy I'm not really looking to target all that much, to be honest. His ground ball fly ball stuff's pretty good. He gives up a lot of hard contact to righties, but other than that, he doesn't really have all that many of weaknesses, and it's in St. Louis, which is not the best hitting environment, so it's probably going to be a no for me as far as stacking against him. And Adrian Hauser in that same game, I would say the same rule applies to him, so I'm good on that. Zach Lothar taking on the Boston Red Sox, absolutely terrible with a 41.9% hard contact rate, 11.1 walk rate. He can't get people out when he actually throws strikes. He's giving up a lot of hard contact, so everything matches up for the Red Sox to have a big game here with a 450 slugging to righties, a 650 slugging to lefties. I'm going to love the Red Sox lineup up and down. They've been really struggling. You can make an argument to maybe fade them if they're going to be very popular. But he's a left-handed hurler. It's a great hitting environment in Baltimore. The weather could be a little bit better. It's only 68 degrees. But as far as Baltimore, I always love targeting Camden Yards. Green across the board for home runs, and it is home run paradise. So I like targeting this field. And the Baltimore Orioles bullpen is terrible, as we know. So Enrique Hernandez, Hunter Renfroe, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Bobby Dahlbeck, Jose Iglesias, Christian Vasquez, all the above. And you could definitely go lefty on lefty with Devers, Schwarber, etc. Any lefty that cracks this lineup, because Lothar's not good against either side, to be quite frank, and the Baltimore Orioles bullpen is terrible. So definitely have interest there. In the Red Sox bat, Zach Plesac taking on the Kansas City Royals. He has a 470 slugging out to righties. He's much more effective against lefties, so the Royals righties are the ones that are going to be in play. Of course, we know Mr. Salvador Perez has been absolutely fuego all season long, so I'd like him. Whit Merrifield. And other than that, not getting too excited to be targeting this Royals team. Those two guys can be played as one-offs. Taylor Hearn taking on the Angels is the guy that's a left-handed hurler that really struggles against righties, so the righties are going to be who you want to target. It's him with a 450 slugging given up. The Angels don't exactly have the most stacked lineup in the world, but in this friendly hitting environment in Texas, I do think this is a unique spot where we could target in. We could be targeting them. Of course, Ohtani, lefty on lefty, no issues. Brandon Marsh. But the main lefty maxers are going to be right in the heart of this order, and Phil Gosselin, Jack Mayfield, and Max Stassi, so those guys would be my favorite options on the Angels stack. You can stack them up to the bottom of the order. Casey Mize taking on Minnesota. Very easy to break down. Good against righties. Terrible against lefties. Always a guy I want to target with left-handed bats with a 520 slugging. Give him up to lefties, a 48.3% hard contact rate. That's worse on the slate. He's been very bad against lefties since entering the league, and this year really hasn't changed. So the Minnesota Twins lefties will definitely be in play for me. And then you factor in that the Detroit bullpen's terrible. Everything lines up for them. Luis Arias, Jorge Polanco, Max Kepler, Nick Gordon, Jake Cave can play them all against Mize. And of course, if you're fully stacking up, go ahead and throw in those righties and Buxton, Donaldson, Garver, etc. Feel pretty good about them taking on that bullpen if they can get Mize out of this game early. Although he's good against righties, I'm sure there's many arms in the bullpen that aren't. So that's would be my approach there. Taijuan Walker really struggling as of late with a 445 slugging to righties, 363 slugging to lefties. Really hasn't been that great. He has to take on a Miami Marlins squad tonight. That should be a pretty friendly matchup for him in the Citi Field environment in New York, which is friendly to pitchers. The Marlins only have 3.25 implied run total. You can make an argument for Taijuan Walker, but I think you could also stack up this Marlins team. Miguel Rojas, Jazz Chisholm, Brian De La Cruz, Jesus Sanchez, Luis Brisson, Lewin Diaz, Alex Jackson, Eddie Alvarez. I don't hate it. The Mets really aren't playing for much now, so no issues there. Merrill Kelly taking on the Giants. He's been terrible all season long with a 498 slugging to righties. Specifically against righties, he's really struggled. The 378 slugging to lefties has definitely taken some steps forward this season. I continue to say it because I think he deserves a little bit of credit. His numbers are improving a little bit, but he's still pretty bad overall, and he's taking on a Giants team that I would be willing to target here. Unfortunately, it's in San Francisco. It's really not the best hitting environment whatsoever. It's one of the worst in the league, but that would be my approach here. I'd be playing the righties and Buster Posey, Chris Bryant, Evan Longoria as one-offs, so I want to mention that if you want to get sneaky with some one-offs there. And that's some of the top guys we could be targeting. As far as Pineda and Eliza Hernandez, they're both very similar in the sense that they struggle more so against left-handed hitting, both very bad against lefties. Specifically, Eliza Hernandez has really struggled against left-handed hitting this year with a 656 slugging given up to those lefties. That's really bad. 407 WOBA, only an 18.2% K rate. I would love me some New York Mets lefties tonight, even though it's not the best hitting environment. Those numbers are really bad. And especially if they're going to be alone, Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Michael Conforto, Jonathan Villar, Jeff McNeil. Definitely have interest in those guys. He has been much more effective against righties, so just keep that in mind. But even then, he's got a high strikeout rate, but he's still giving him a 375 slugging. It's not the best in the world. So I think the Mets stack could be a sneaky one for sure. Danielson, the Mets struggled more so against lefties, so the Dodgers lefties definitely make a lot of sense to me tonight. They do have a 5.19 implied run total. Corey Seager, Max Muncy, Gavin Lux, etc. would be the guys I'm looking to taking on the Mets. And we have Logan Gilbert struggling more so against righties. 45 slugging up to righties with 328 WOBA, 52.3% fly ball rate. So the Oakland Athletics righties would be making quite a bit of sense tonight. And Josh Harrison, Starling Marte, Mark Canha, Matt Chapman, Sean Murphy. They make some sense as well. And that's really pretty much my breakdown. The lefties on the Yankees, I talked about taking on Jose Barrios. They're definitely viable, so you can definitely be playing some Joey Gallo, some Anthony Rizzo in your lineups. They make a lot of sense for sure. And then Eovaldi, Aaron Nola, both worse against righties, but they're not really guys I'm looking to target all that much on the slate tonight. I think we've pointed out the ones that I really am looking to target. So with that being said, before I let you guys go, I'm going to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Adolis Garcia taking on Jansen Junk. We mentioned his hard contact issues, absolutely terrible against righties with a 478 slugging, giving up only an 8% K rate and giving up fly balls at a 71.4% fly ball rate. That is very bad. And then when you're breaking down these splits as far as what he goes to in his pitching repertoire, against righties, he really goes to the fastball-slider combination. Fastball 50% of the time, slider 40% of the time. His fastball comes in at about a 92, 93 mile-an-hour rate, and Adolis Garcia crushes that pitch. A 370 ISO with a 448 WOBA, and then as far as the slider, Garcia can definitely handle that as well because he has a 253 ISO with a 321 WOBA. Love this spot for Adolis Garcia. Get him in your lineups in the friendly hitting conditions in Texas because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Adolis Garcia. Get him in your lineups, and that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to check out my KJK DFS premium packages, link below in the description. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.